To the cloud. All right, here we are today, and I have got a special guest. I've got Renee Burton with American Family with us today to talk a little bit about insurance premiums. This has been a big bone of contention, considering people who are buying homes, they're wondering why their rates are so high, and then current homeowners as well who are wondering what is going on with our rates. So welcome, Renee. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we've been chatting before we started this call a little bit, and actually I already learned things that I didn't know, but I just want to let you take the floor basically and kind of start talking about some of the things that we were talking about off camera, starting with rates. Why are these rates going up so much? Can you give us a consensus?
I can. So if you're looking at homeowners rates, the home rates alone are going up statewide and with almost all carriers, most carriers, because of the hailstorms. I mean, you saw the hailstorms that we had all last year. Colorado was number 2 in the loss ratio per capita. And so that means we had the highest amounts. And the last time we had a huge hailstorm, we beat our storm from 2017, if you guys remember, the one that was on I-25 that destroyed all the cars. So we even beat that storm this last year. And it's the catastrophic losses are insane.
Wow.
So,
And you were saying that was Colorado, that was statewide, do we know counties that were hit more than others, or is there a way to find that out?
there are counties that were hit more. So up north, Broomfield, Brighton, then a little bit further north, but also east, we were hit. Elbert County, the northern end of the Elbert County was hit, but not quite as bad. Yeah. And Douglas County was hit really hard. So, but even way up in northern Colorado itself was hit. So it was completely statewide, these tornadoes. I mean, we had, and these hailstorms, and we had a tornado in Highlands Ranch. I mean, how rare is that? I mean, in the middle of the city, how rare is it to have that? So having these catastrophic storms that they labeled, it wreaks havoc on everybody's insurance. So it's not only those that filed a claim that have a slight increase, it's all of us that have a slight increase, because the companies have to remain profitable and they can't just pin it on the one person. And because these were catastrophic, that's not how the rates and the increases are happening. So it is because it was a statewide, it was storms everywhere. So all of us take the rate increase. All of the companies take a rate increase. All of the deductibles probably change, and you can change your deductibles to help your rate as well. So if we are going to look at the auto policies, if we move from the homes to the autos and the increases on auto policies, some people were like, well, I didn't even get hit by hail on my cars. My cars were in the garage. Well, the number of cars that were hit by these storms, it was crazy. They were totaling out 2016 vehicles, 2018 vehicles, because the amount of hail damage that was on them, it was not worth it to repair them. So,
I actually have hail on my car that I haven't claimed.
They weren't able to, it wasn't worth it to chop the top of this vehicle and replace all the panels. So it was cheaper just to total the vehicle out.
So now, didn't you say that, or earlier you tell me also that there are certain companies that are no longer writing policies in Colorado?
There's a number of companies.
Is that home and auto, or just?
Most of those ones are actually rental properties, so habitational. So if you are a investor and you have rental properties, you'll see that your rental coverages are going to go up. So the cost to cover your rental property, whereas you were paying for a condo that you were renting out, you were paying maybe $500-600 for the year at the most on a high end, it's now going to be at least $1,500 to cover it, because one claim on that for a water claim or any type of a claim, it's catastrophic. And for us as a company, we don't make absolutely any money. And then because of all of these storms that we had, the condos, the townhomes, and all of those, the HOAs have been filing loss assessments. And so, which is, thankfully homeowners that have policies that have a good relationship with their agents and they know that there's an HOA, you can have a loss assessment coverage on your policy and you can make sure that you're covered. And if you have that special assessment that is sent to you from an HOA, you can just file a claim for it. And yes, we pay it out and you don't have to pay it out of pocket. The most recent thing that we just had with HOAs is a lot of HOAs have had a meeting with all of their members and homeowners in their development and asked them, how would you guys like to go? Would you like to increase your HOA monthly, or would you like to change your coverage on your home? So for condos and townhomes, most of them are covered as basically a walls-in unit. And so then the HOA policies are a little bit higher. So a lot of companies, I've got three companies that are HOAs that have actually had all of their homeowners change from a walls-in policy into a full coverage policy.
But when you're saying a walled in, you're kind of like almost like a renter's policy that's covering the items inside your home, or no?
It's covering the cost to rebuild the house from the inside out. The HOA covers the exterior and the roof.
Okay.
They just have to rebuild anything on the inside. If it was a total loss or if it was water damage and stuff on the inside, they're responsible. But the HOA, instead of having to increase their HOA to, $600 a month, they're having them switch their policy completely over. So they're no longer responsible for the roofs and the sidings.
Yeah.
They are now, the homeowner is responsible for that. And their HOA fees can stay the same as where they're at. And the HOA is repairing all of that based on this last claim, but the homeowners are having to change over their policies, which in the long run is saving them money because they're not paying an additional, $400 a month for HOA fees. They're paying an additional probably $400 a year on a different homeowner's policy. So that's a huge one with loss assessments and condos.
That's good to know. That's good to know also because, a lot of homeowners out there or future home buyers don't really realize when it comes to condos. I mean, there's a lot of little things to think about. A lot of them won't even, if they have too many rentals, then you can't get a loan on them. But same thing, some of them do cover all of the exterior. Some of them only cover roof. Some of them don't cover, again, you have to have your own homeowner's policy. But what would you say? And we also talked a little bit about this because you are my insurance agent and you helped me years ago put together my hobby ranch farm policy. And you were so proactive and you were, we kind of talked a little bit about relationship and having someone that is going to work as your adversary when it comes to, not your adversary, your advocate. I'm sorry. We don't want an adversary. As your advocate when it comes to what you need to make sure you're carrying. And we were talking about how so many people, they are carrying the minimums. I mean, we're talking a lot of the home, car, auto policies and stuff. But when it comes to your home too, I think it's so important not to just shop price. You really need to have someone that can walk you through and say, these are the things you really need to look at. Roof is huge, as we just talked about here in Colorado. Roof policy, what does that mean? What happens if you get hit by a storm? That kind of thing. So again, having someone that can come into your office and sit down in front of you and really go over what their needs are is awesome. Or on Zoom even, or a phone call.
Yeah, it is. It's important. So most agents, if you have a great working relationship with your agent, they should be able to sit down with you and go step by step through a replacement cost estimator and get the true value for your home. All of those fires that we had before, a lot of those homes were undervalued, and that's because people shopped by price or they had never reviewed their policies since the time that they purchased it. They never increased the value of their home for replacement cost. And so it's really important that you schedule a yearly review with your agent and just go over them. And if they don't reach out to you, reach out to them. Sometimes it's, it gets missed in the hustle and bustle, but sometimes it's, they'll reach out to you and say, hey, we got to look at your policy. And if you get an email from them, respond to them. Sometimes we get a ton of emails from them, but it's just because they want you to know that they are there for you. They are being your advocate. They are going to help you and make sure that you are properly covered. Colorado right now is number 12 in the nation for having the highest number of drivers that are uninsured or underinsured. So check your auto policies, because UMUIM, which is uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage, that's protection for you and your family. If someone hits you that doesn't have coverage, your UMUIM comes in and protects you. So if you don't have that, I don't ever recommend anybody have low limits on that. I don't ever recommend anybody reject it, because that's your protection. That's what you're saying.
It's such a little bit of difference, right, in pricing too. I mean, we're talking, I don't think it's even enough to make you.
UMUIM right now in Colorado is a lot higher. So it is an expensive, it's added to your auto policy. It's not rejected unless you request to reject it. But some people, once they learn that, oh, that's, for a 6-month policy, it can be like $400. That chunk is probably a lot of what your auto policy is.
Right.
But, why would you pay for insurance and you have these limits to pay to protect someone else, but you don't have limits to protect your own family and yourself? And so I think the uninsured, underinsured motorist is one of the most important parts to have on an auto policy.
That's good. Let me ask you something when it comes to auto. This just came up in my mind when you were talking. So being a real estate agent, when I'm talking with buyers and I'm saying, that comes down to the point, there's a date in our contract that is for homeowners insurance. And that is so that someone can't be at the closing table and say, oh, sorry, I can't close. My homeowner's insurance was a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be. Well, many times, I always give a referral, but a lot of times they'll say, hey, let me just start with who I have my auto policy with. I mean, 99% of the times that's what they tell me, they're going to call Allstate or whoever it is that they have their car insurance with. Is that a good route to go to start your process, since you already have an auto policy with someone, to just kind of see what that looks like for your homeowners as well?
If they can get a bundled rate, it's going to be better. Anytime you can bundle your home, auto, and your umbrella policy together, it's going to be better. But if they haven't shopped rates, in years, if they've been with the same carrier, so it depends. So some carriers will reward you for staying with them for a long time. If they are someone that shops frequently, every 6 months, then they're going to have a different type of insurance score. So you do get an insurance score if you stay with a carrier for a longer period of time. And if you bundle your insurance, your home, your auto, and umbrella, there's algorithms out there that give you a better rating, because when you have those policies together, you're going to have it at a longer period of time. The longevity that you're going to stay with that agency and with that person is longer and better. So they know that, you're not just going to shop every 6 months. So
right. You actually have a loyal partner.
Yeah. So it is better to bundle. You're going to get a better rate if you bundle. So for them to say, oh, well, let me call this person that I already have my auto with, it's okay. They can get a rate, but it's also good for them to say, well, let me see what else I can get, if I can get a better rate if I bundle and change with this other company. So
and I have one more question, because I don't want to make this too long, but you mentioned umbrellas. You said it a couple times, and I'm a big proponent of umbrellas as well. If you were to advise someone, do you advise everybody to get an umbrella? How important do you think they are, or what would be the most important that you would advise people to have?
In this day and age, and in this time that we're in right now, yes, I think everybody should have a personal liability umbrella. It's the only policy that can come over and protect you on your homeowner's policy and your auto policy. So, it's the only one. I mean, the whole word umbrella, it's the only one that can carry over and provide that extra protection. And it's not super expensive. I mean, $1 million umbrella to protect you if someone gets hurt on your property and it exceeds your personal liability limit, which most policies have a 300,000 liability limit. If it exceeds that, yeah, it's going to be gone. And so to save your assets, to save them from suing you, you have an umbrella policy. They send in the rest of their receipts and your umbrella policy takes care of it for you. So an umbrella policy is peace of mind.
Yeah, definitely.
It's,
And also for a condo, isn't it true, also to like an assessment or not even a condo, but something that has an HOA, a property that has an HOA, having like an assessment coverage. So if those assessments go up, which I'm hearing are happening a lot, I'm seeing them happen a lot,
so
probably.
that's actually an endorsement. That's an endorsement that you add on your condo policy, and that is called loss assessment. And you want to make sure that that is at its highest limit, because I saw loss assessments this year assessed at $27,000 per unit. And so if people had only $10,000 loss assessment, the insurance only paid 10,000. They had to come up with the other 17. So, and not everybody has 17,000 in the back pocket to pay your HOA department. So that means they add that on to your dues every single month. So your insurance increase, your policy increase, your HOA dues increase. So it is important to have those special endorsements. And that's why, you got to have that relationship and that working relationship with your agent so that you can go through everything and not just be, a .com and try and get a policy online,
Right.
because policies online aren't going to give you all of the endorsements. They're not going to give you all the extra coverage that you.
And you come out, actually, you did for me, you actually come and look at the property. Do you do that for everybody? Just to kind of know what's there, what the best options are for them to have.
Yep.
I think that's
So
awesome.
if they have acreage, if they have outbuildings, if you have, if it's a special policy that I'm writing for you, I'm going to come put boots on the ground. I'm going to come look what you've got. I'm going to see and make sure that we can get you the coverage you need. Do you have vinyl fencing? Do we need to add extra coverage for that? Do you have, do you have poured concrete? Do you have stamped concrete? Do you have colored concrete? Do you have a covered patio? Those things are things that we can add to your policy. If it's not on your policy and that hailstorm or tornado came through like it did in Highlands Ranch, we want to help you get covered like for like. We want to put you back to where you were when impact happened. And if you don't have your policy written correctly, we can't do that.
And you did. I remember when I had switched my policy over to you, and it was before it was actually your agency, but you found a lot of mistakes from the prior policy. I don't know if mistakes, but I think a lot of them were things that we missed that were missed. So I mean, I thought that was awesome, and I really appreciated it. You definitely were very detail oriented and has helped me a lot. So again, thank you, Miss Renee Burton at American Family. We'll make sure, what's the best way to get a hold of you if someone wants to reach out? Is it a phone call?
Yeah, 303-805-7777.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Renee. Have an awesome and blessed day. Thanks for taking time with me today.
Thank you so much, Marnie. Have a good day.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.